I feel again, oh now we got so intense. I feel it again, I feel it again, I feel it again. We're bringing this back to life. Better off as strangers. Believe me when I say, loving me is loving danger.
What's that? Hey! Hey guys, we are here. We've just been arguing about Andrew Tate. It's all good. Alright.
Yeah, it's all good.
So I haven't got any of the stories up on the screen yet because we got distracted. Sorry guys. How you been anyway, man? You good?
Yeah, I've been fine.
We weren't going to cover Tate today, but to be honest, it's just this other big fish to fry, and I'm thinking tomorrow's probably going to be a low news day, so we'll probably cover it then. Actually, it's there's been revelations that have come out about this Biden and what's happening with him and his son, and it's worse than we actually originally thought.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, so I heard that there was some big thing that's come out recently about his son, Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
I didn't get time to check it out though. I fell asleep.
Yeah. All right. So 13 is now up. Okay. It looks like they've updated their fucking video thing. It's all very confusing. All right. So yeah. So there's some news have come out about the Biden plea deal. I know we covered this yesterday, but it is worse than we thought. So
it does get worse. Jeez.
Well, it's not so much about. So I want to add more context to what we were talking about yesterday, because obviously, as we were talking about it yesterday, it was literally fresh off the presses. It was literally like the thing that's only just happened. Almost forgot to hit start. Right, so let's jump into it, and we'll talk about the Biden plea deal, and then we'll jump on to Neil Farage and stuff like that, because Neil.
Just quickly.
Yep.
Did you hit record?
Yes, I have. I just did. Neil Farage has actually also been debanked over in England too. So
yeah, that happened a few weeks ago. Yeah,
yeah,
he got debanked.
But we've now got the leaks from the bank, the internal memo. There was like a 37-page report, like a 37-page memo, and I'm going to say this when it also comes to Andrew Tate: if you're going to do shit, don't put it on the fucking internet. Douchebags. Because they went through and basically they went through and it's not looking good for them. It could be illegal. News. Really? You type in Neil Farage getting debanked and nothing pops up on the news.
Oh, it's Nigel Farage.
Nigel, sorry. Yeah.
Nigel.
N-I-G... Oh, sorry. N-I-G-E-L.
Yep.
Right. So yeah. And they've also been dragging BBC into them too. Because the BBC decided to do an interview. And yeah, it didn't go well. So they had an interview with the bank manager, or the guy that runs the bank, and yeah, let's just say Prince Andrew did a better job than this guy did. All right, and what was the third thing we were going to cover for the day? Trump indictment. I'm going to try and leave this one to last. Because it's still fluid, and we might... I don't know if he's actually been indicted yet, or if we're still waiting for the indictment. Right. Yeah, it looks like special counsel adds third defendant. That was 32 minutes ago. His lawyers have met with the potential special prosecutor. He faces new charges. They're even trying to add more charges to Mueller. They really don't want this guy to run.
Oh, I believe they call this lawfare.
What, when using laws against you?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say what they're doing is lawfare. The play on the word warfare.
Yeah. Also, I want to say that there it is there. Right. Right, there we go. All right. Close all those. All right, guys. All right. We're here. Firefox. Who will be the next president? Done. All right. Okay. All right, guys. Welcome to Unbiased Perspectives podcast. Number 13, 14? What are we up to now? 14. We're up to 14. So obviously today, guys, we're going to be talking about Hunter Biden because there's more context that needs to be added. We're going to talk about Neil Farage, and then obviously we're going to talk about Trump and the indictment. Before we jump into all that, obviously I'm joined by my co-host, Satellite. Say hello.
Hey there.
How have you been, buddy? Good? You good?
I've been alright, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
Back pain is gone and I got some sleep.
Oh, can I have some, please? All right. So Hunter Biden. It's yours. It's mine. It's my precious. Hunter Biden. What happened with plea deal and why? Right. So we did cover some of this yesterday, but just to reiterate, Hunter Biden, son of President Joe Biden, arrived in Delaware courtroom on Wednesday morning, expecting to finalize a plea agreement with federal prosecutors over 2 misdemeanor tax charges. Hours later, Hunter Biden unexpectedly pled not guilty to the charges after the judge overseeing the case expressed skepticism about the specifics of the proposed deal. So,
didn't Hunter Biden plead guilty?
he was supposed
Or
to...
did he change that?
He was supposed to plead guilty, but this is where we're going to break down what happened, right?
Oh, wow. All right.
So, what happened was, Hunter, his defense lawyers, and the prosecutors walk into the courtroom. Now, they turn around and they said the judge says to Hunter Biden, along the lines of, have you and the prosecutor, or she says the prosecutor, have you and the defendant reached an agreement? And that's when he turns around and he says, yes, Your Honor, we have an agreement for misdemeanor charges and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the judge turns around and then says, are you fine with this, to the defendant? And he says, yes. Right? Now, before she rubber stamps it, she then turns around and says, I don't see anything in here about fighter, or it's the list that you have to put yourself on when you're going through and you're working as an American businessman foreign. So it's like this fire list, right? And they turn around and they says no. Now, if you don't register as a foreign investment agent, right, you can you can be charged. You can be charged with non-disclosure of all this sort of stuff, right? It's a big thing. He didn't put himself down on this fighter list, right? He refused to do it. And then she turns around now. She's turned around now and she says, I don't see any charges regarding this fighter, or whatever it's called. And the prosecutor turns around and says, no. He says, so he was supposed to get misdemeanor charges for the tax evasion and 2-year good behavior, and basically this sweetheart deal, right? When it came to the gun, it was supposed to be like, like for example, because he had a gun illegally, it was supposed to be, that he just goes through and does 2 years of good behavior, stays clean, gets a job, doesn't do drugs, doesn't drink, he's fine. Right? Dream that you and I would only dream of. Deal you and I would only dream of getting. Anyway, she turns around and she says to the court, she turns around to the prosecutor, she says, I don't see anything in here about this foreign agent stuff. And he says, no. She said, are you prosecuting or are you going after that sort of stuff? And he says, oh, well, that might be a thing that we're going on in the future, an ongoing investigation. It's not a part of this. Right? But then when she was reading the plea deal, it said that he would get a plea deal and that he was immune from any further prosecution. Right? So what they were trying to do was that they were trying to sneak in this blanket immunity, not just for the gun and everything like that, but they were trying to sneak it in under the gun deal and give him blanket immunity. And then once the judge rubber stamped it and signed it, then later they would then turn around and they would say, well, we're going to go after him for whatever, campaign finances, for example. But then they would be like, oh, but we can't because he's got this plea deal. Oh, bummer. And that would be the end of it. Right? So it was the judge that caught this plea deal, that caught this situation where they were giving a blanket immunity for everything that he's done, not just about the gun and the drugs. It was a complete...
And that's why the judge threw a hissy fit
yesterday. And
they tried to trick the judge.
Yes, and the media has made it out that the judge and the prosecutor and defendant were just talking. My reporter, or my guy, tells me the judge was screaming at them. She was irate that they were trying to do this because guess what? She's the one that would have got the blame.
Yeah.
Right? And anyway, so that's what they were doing. They were basically saying, look, for the tax evasion and stuff, you get misdemeanor, fine, whatever it is. For the gun charge, we'll downgrade it, or we'll keep it as a felony, but we'll go through and we'll give you 2 years probation. You got to get a job, got to stop drinking, stop doing drugs, and we'll give you, under the table, a blanket immunity, which would then stop anybody going after him for everything else. And that's when, like, the judge says to the prosecutor, does this include this foreign agent stuff? And he was like, no. And that's when Hunter was like, well, hang on, it's supposed to. That was the deal. And that's when it all blew up. So it is very interesting that you had the deep state establishment trying to give him this sweetheart deal under the table, which would have given him blanket immunity from everything else. And at the end of the day, it all fell apart just because the judge simply just didn't rubber stamp it and asked a question. And that's why it all blew up in his face. It's the same sort of deal they gave Jeffrey Epstein back in the day, back in 2006 or whatever, right? Remember how Jeffrey Epstein had that blanket immunity deal? It's the same thing. The same thing he had back then. I'm trying to remember who it was. Someone was on YouTube was talking about this. Let's see if I can find it very, very quickly. But yeah, it was a very interesting because, like I said, it was basically the establishment trying their hardest to protect Hunter Biden. That's the way I'm reading it anyway. So let's see if I go through my history. But while I'm finding that, what are your thoughts, opinions? What do you have to say about it all?
Wow. You know, it's bloody crazy. I'm glad the judge was vigilant.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? If the judge hadn't been vigilant, it would have just gone through.
He walks.
And he would have got blanket immunity and...
That's it. It's over. Hunter Biden walks.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then we're just going to... And then everyone's just going to be like, wow, corrupt judge, huh?
Yeah, exactly. She would have been the one getting the blame for it. I have to use my... actually, just fill in for a sec. I have to go get a phone.
Okay. Yeah, corruption, just like yesterday, I guess. The big conclusion. It's just the deep state corruption continues. But at least we've got a judge that doesn't suck.
All right, I'm back. So yeah, like I said, it was actually really, really good that they went through and they caught this because God knows what he would have got away with. There's investigations going into him with like campaign financing, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff that they're probably. Oh, actually, what do you think? Trying to get all the rest of the stuff to not get prosecuted because as how it works, when things are getting prosecuted, the public finds out about a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
And discovery is a bitch.
Yeah.
Now
And
the DNC probably is, freaking out now.
Well, it depends. It depends on the prosecutor. Like at the end of the day, if this was the deal that he was going to get from the prosecutor, it really does make you wonder how corrupt the prosecutor really is. Because at the end of the day, there's no way you or I would ever get this deal.
No.
So, like, what the hell? Like, what the hell is going on? Like, dude, this deal was insane. It was crazy that they were going to offer him this deal.
Yeah, it's sweetheart deals like that. There's only two types of people that get it: the ultra rich, or terrorists that put up an immunity deal in exchange for information on the show 24.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd say this is all because of like his dad is. His dad's the president. And it's funny because he keeps getting asked about the White House. The White House, they keep asking him, like, oh, do you think this is going to affect your presidency or anything like that? And it's like, no, it's like he's like, no. Here, actually, it was Tim Pool. Bloody hell, it was Tim Pool who did it.
Oh yeah, well, Tim Pool's covering this vigilantly, because this is crazy. Oh man.
What was that?
Actually, I wonder if the prosecutor can be prosecuted later over this crap. Probably not, right?
I don't know. What was that program that we used to watch videos?
Watch Together.
Watch Together, that's right.
Yeah.
We won't watch the whole thing, but we'll go through Tim Pool's video because he had a really good breakdown on it. Create the room.
To create the room and send the link.
Yeah. Add to playlist.
So for the audience, we're gonna get a room.
Kind of sounds kinky when you say that. All right. Message that. Sorry, that's not the right link. Hang on a sec. I copied it and it didn't fucking copy. Copy. There we go.
Yes, I do need the thing. Oh, that's right. I had to open it up in the unprotected browser because they don't like they don't like that
No.
privacy stuff.
God forbid, eh?
Where's Edge? I never use Microsoft Edge for anything. I always have to go hunt it. There we go. I got it.
Alright.
Alright. I am in. Let's go. Let's do this.
Where is the volume button? There we go. Damn it. Not that. Play.
Deal, which tried to sneak in broad immunities, was struck down by Judge Noreika. And right now, you've got people on the right praising the judge, saying, good job sniffing this one out. Meanwhile, you've got people on the left saying the judge is trying to protect Hunter Biden from a Donald Trump vengeance or revenge. Interesting. The story is this. Yesterday, Hunter Biden was supposed to plead guilty. I talked about it in the morning, but by the afternoon, the plea deal had fallen apart. They had said maybe it's going to come back. They're negotiating, and then it's been put on hold. What happens here is downright shocking. We got transcripts from the courtroom, and it's crazier than we know. Basically, what happened was the prosecution hid immunity provisions in a deferment program, effectively behind the plea agreement. I'm not a lawyer, so it's harder for me to explain. I'm a lawyer. Actually, I don't know if a lawyer could explain it better because they might use jargon. But the idea is they say, hey, here are these things you're pleading guilty to in terms of taxes. You read through it and it's kind of like, oh, okay, that's fine. Then there's this deferment program on the gun issue. But within it were deep and broad provisions for immunity, which could ultimately make Hunter Biden immune to everything. Now, I find it funny that the left is arguing the judge is trying to protect Hunter Biden from Trump when the judge asked about FARA violations and whether or not there was an ongoing investigation. I got to break this down for you. I got to read. I'll read.
So FARA was the Foreign Investors Act or something like that. It's yeah.
To you what some of these lawyers are saying. But this is the story we have from Newsweek. Hunter Biden judge trying to protect him from Donald Trump, according to this attorney. I find it absolutely laughable. But the scandal is deeper than that because we did talk about this yesterday. Take a look at this. Judge says Hunter Biden legal team apparently misrepresented identity to court clerk. Yeah, this was yesterday morning. Apparently the scandal gets crazier. They were trying to get negative information, emotion, removed by pretending to be Republicans on the Ways and Means Committee, I believe. This is a crazy story. Right now, there is a grand jury convening to indict Donald Trump.
So I haven't even looked into this whole stuff about them going into the Senate or the House, and what I presume is them going into the House committee and trying to get information removed. But yeah, like it's crazy. Like they literally tried to backdoor, my understanding, and obviously, you know, someone like Via Fry or Barnes can go through and probably confirm this a lot better than I can. But it seems like they were trying to backdoor a complete immunity deal and trying to basically stop Hunter from ever being able to be prosecuted, and they tried to backdoor it with this deferment. Deferment is when you're going on good behavior and stuff like that. But yeah, it's kind of creepy. Like it's kind of fucking weird that they would. Well, not weird. I get it, but I think it was Luke Wadowski from We Are Change this morning was mentioning. He's actually he said he doesn't agree. He didn't say he agrees with me, but he was saying the same thing I was saying yesterday. It seems like they're trying to put the screws, to me, on Joe Biden. Because like I'm kind of wondering now, is Joe Biden become a liability Are they going to tell him to resign and not run again as president? And if that's the case, are they going to get someone like Gavin Newsom to run against Trump? Or, it's crazy. It's, the power play in Washington is just, it's House of Cards on steroids right now. The amount of stuff they're trying to do. But what are your thoughts?
So, something I am a little confused about. The prosecutor is in charge of what gets prosecuted, right? That's
Yep.
how that works, isn't it? That's
Yep.
why they call the prosecutor.
Yep.
So the judge is the judge. I mean, I really like what the judge has done, right? But isn't ultimately the judge powerless in some way, though? Like, yes, the judge has jumped at something being hidden and it just had to be rubber stamped and all that. But ultimately, at the end of the day, isn't it that, well, they will just talk behind the scenes and then just go, well, all right, then the judge can't do anything else, so I guess he gets immunity, you know?
Well, no, the judge has to sign off on the plea deal.
Mm-hmm.
So without the judge signing off on it, plea deal doesn't
Well,
exist.
Right. Would they not then just simply do a mistrial and just get a different judge?
Well, no, because now what happens is if he doesn't have a plea deal, now it has to go to court.
Wait, the judge isn't he in a court now?
Yeah, but this is all like pre-court, right? So before you start doing
Pre-trial.
Pre-trial. So before you even start worrying about like discovery or anything like that, they've tried to sort out this plea deal with him. So now that the plea deal has failed, obviously they've gone back and they tried to hammer out another plea deal yesterday afternoon. But from what I'm hearing, he still hasn't got that yet. I don't know if it's been redeferred to a different date for court or it's going to have to go before the judge again. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't work, if they can't go through and get this signed off before a judge, I'm guessing it goes to court. And that's when discovery will kick in, all this sort of stuff. But like I said, here's the question I have to ask, right? Is if the prosecutor was going to give him this sweetheart plea deal, is he really going to be after him and being a prosecutor?
No, of course not.
Or is he going to be like, well, yeah, we might put a guy on it here or there or something. We might look into it a little bit here, there, but, that's the question everybody should be asking, right? Is at the end of the day, if he's going to get this sweetheart deal from the prosecutor, what makes you think the prosecutor is actually going to go after Hunter Biden? Obviously, he likes him. Or he has at least his ideology agree with him or something, right? Obviously, he's trying
instructions, yeah.
Or instructions, yeah.
Maybe they've got the prosecutor's kids in some basement somewhere.
Well, yeah. Pizza Gate. But, like I say, at the end of the day, obviously there's something going on.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be nefarious like kids. It can be just as simple as the fact that the prosecutor's been told, hey, look, George Soros paid money to get you as a prosecutor, presuming that's who it is. Then, if you don't play ball, then, well, next time your election comes up, we're going to give it to someone else. Do you like this job? Do you want to keep this job?
So, I can't imagine what the solution right now is, though. I can't say that I'm super familiar. Like, let's just put it this way: my knowledge of the U.S. law system mostly comes from Nick Recader. So
Yeah.
I'm not an expert.
Which, by the way, does a fantastic job.
Yeah, and talking of Nick Recader, I definitely need to watch his streams covering, because I think he's already done one. I need to go and watch that. And then all subsequent ones that will come along after, I have to watch them, and then I can bring more information.
Yeah.
But
I was watching a bit of Barnes, Robert Barnes and Via Fry talking about the Trump indictment earlier today. Recader's good. I like Robert Barnes as well. Robert Barnes has a really good accuracy as well. But yeah, at the end of the day, like I said, I presume they were trying to sort of hush this up and get it over and done with, because the last thing they want is going in an election with this overhanging senior
Yeah.
Um,
Because they'll just do the same thing like last time. I think one of the narratives that goes on to this day is the reason that Hillary lost the election was because of the was it Comey?
yeah, James Comey.
They, yeah, they blame Comey
Mm,
because of like what he did, like during the voting season.
mm,
He brought all those things to the table about investigating stuff that she did. So
yeah,
there's a lot of narratives going on, and uh, they'll blame this. They'll blame this thing with the Bidens as why his dad loses an election or something.
yeah, yeah. They'll always have some excuse for it. And at the end of the day, it's right here in Republic REPUBLICAN primaries. And it's funny because if you're a Republican that loses the election, God forbid, do not mention the fact that you think there was anything funny going on in the election, because your YouTube channel will get banned, right?
Yeah. Actually, speaking of that too, just a quick thing. You know how Tim Pool doesn't believe there was that much nefarious stuff that went on.
Well, actually, he does, but he doesn't think it was like massive voter fraud, like rigging the elections machines. He tends to think the same thing that I did. It's 2/3 of Americans don't vote, and what they had was a very, very aggressive campaign to basically go through and door knock on people's doors.
Cities versus country.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a big problem that they have. That's why whenever a Republican does win, it's only really because they still have that electoral college thing going on.
Yeah.
And it's why they want to get rid of it and go to popular vote, because then a Republican will never win an election ever again.
Although that said, Trump actually won the popular vote in 2016.
Really?
Sorry, hang on. No, not 2016. Sorry, 2020. The midterms. The Republicans won.
Oh, yeah, you did win that one.
Yeah,
I think not by much, but it was, yeah.
But still, they won the popular vote, though. Yeah. All right. But yeah, as I say, like, as for this plea deal, it was impressive with the back doors I was trying to like get it into, and I reckon it was just there so they could protect Hunter Biden and Joe Biden.
Yeah. Gotta protect the golden boy.
Gotta protect them. All right. Did you see that video that I sent you before with the girl in the dress?
Yes. Yeah.
Would that be
I'll
alright
play it
on?
now.
Would that be alright on YouTube? Well, you don't have to. Yeah. Would that be alright on YouTube? Do you think?
Well, wait, no, I'll just play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
All right.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's have a little bit of fun.
I'm
Because
just confused. Well, did you see the one of the naked guy? You won't be able to play that one on YouTube. But
No.
there's a completely naked dude in that kind of setting in like a shopping center.
Mm.
And he rides down the escalator completely naked, and people are just like, "What the hell's going on?" And then some old guy comes down the escalator with literally what looks like a stop sign and pole. I'm not kidding. Whacks him over the head, knocking him out onto the floor, and then walks away.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just like, I want to know why this guy's naked and why the old man just knocked him out with a stop sign.
Well, probably because the first guy was naked and he probably was like,
Yes. But that naked thing, that's been going on for about 3 or 4 years now.
yeah.
Weird, man. This naked people thing and the head spinners. Oh man, like the head spinners thing is also crazy too.
So I'm trying to find out what we would look up for this argument. For this story. What would be the story about the girl in the black dress?
Woman in black dress
I tried that.
with no underwear.
You get a whole bunch of porn sites when you start typing that in. Woman in black
Yeah, you would.
dress in shops. Videos.
You know, I don't know why the internet is outraged by a woman doing that. I
Because
guess.
there's kids around. Because there's kids around.
Oh, okay. Now I get it. Okay,
She's-
okay.
she's-
I didn't think of that.
She's in a shopping centre.
Yeah, true.
I'm trying to find. You know, considering the internet is supposedly outraged by this, I can't find many people talking about it.
It might be difficult to keyword that. Yeah, that might be the problem though. Search engine. Oh my god, search engine algorithms. Yeah, like you said, you try searching it and you get porn sites. So
Yeah, well, I also tried searching it on Twitter, and I can find 2 people talking about it. And apparently, the internet is a buzz and outrage because of it. So
yeah, I didn't know it was a cinema, and that is a problem. Yeah, because the kids around and stuff. So yeah, they might be outraged by it.
And what I'm getting at is it looks like maybe this. Yes, found it. Okay. So, woman sparks outrage after flashing her buttocks.
Wait, really? That's side buttock, not actual. Like, that's not full buttock.
Yeah.
It's like she's showing side boob, but not all boob. You know.
So, guys, obviously we have this video, and yeah, we are totally covering this because it's going to be good for views. So, hey, at least we're honest about it. This is a girl that was supposedly at the cinemas getting around in that. Funny thing is that when you actually look at the video, she looks like she's actually very conscious about it. So, woman sparks outrage after flashing her buttocks at the movie theater in a very revealing dress with no underwear. As social media jokes, she must be going to see Oppenheimer? Oppenheimer?
Oh, Oppenheimer.
Yeah, instead of Oppenheimer, they're going to see Honey, or whatever.
Oppenheimer. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Did you see
Well,
the
it's
other
a
one
pretty
too?
bad joke.
The other thing they say too is I think they call it a Barbenheimer, because the only 2 movies that anyone goes to watch right now is Barbie and Oppenheimer, so they call it the go to see Barbenheimer.
Well, actually, funny they say that because Sound of Freedom is still killing it at the box office.
Okay, yeah.
Always got to be careful with false narratives. Woman has sparked furious outrage after she showed up to the movie theater donning a very revealing dress and no underwear, prompting people on the web to brand her desperate for attention. Which, well, hello, look what she's wearing. Any gent frequently flaunts her toned physique. Really? Because that butt looks like it's been lifted. In a teeny beeny bikini and gym wear on her Instagram, where she boasts over 72,000 followers who all gush over her figure.
72K is not too bad.
Really? I was going to say, like, getting around in that, you only got 72K? Like, that's all she can get with that? However, most recently, the brunette beauty came under fire after she was recorded wearing a black dress that left little to the imagination and featured an extra high slit and no underwear at the movie theater. She was blasted by social media users who slammed her as inappropriate outfit that left her butt on full display as they questioned why she chose to sport the risque ensemble because she likes attention. Like, really? Is anybody surprised?
The article hasn't said anything yet about why it was inappropriate specifically. That's kind of annoying.
Yeah, well, they do say in the title that it was the cinemas.
Yeah, I know, but like maybe Like, it didn't click with me immediately though, just because it's the cinemas.
Um,
No.
Even if it wasn't the cinemas, to be honest, you also got to remember too is that she's going to be sitting down on seats.
Oh yeah, but she's got the dress though.
Dude, I can see the dress. There's not much to that dress. Like there's like literally a scene where she's turning around, and like the butt is actually like the dress is like fallen to the side, and like you can see half.
So
the
you
butt.
reckon? So you reckon she's gonna leave a snail trail?
No, but what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, is that people might not necessarily want to go to the cinemas and sit down and sit on the seats after her ass has been on the seat, quite literally. In the clip, she was seen purchasing a snack from the register while at the theatre. The brunette beauty let the hair fall to the side. Oh, go away, thank you. And she turned heads in tight black number. Dress was only covered, so the dress only covered one side of her body. Featured gold featured gold cutouts. Indy paired the scandalous gown with a nude sandals. The clip quickly went viral on social media platform where users criticised Indy for her outfit choices, adding that she was begging for attention, which, let's face it, she is. One person wrote this should be illegal. Well, okay, here's an interesting thing for you. Is it illegal to walk in a supermarket with no clothes on?
Yes.
Why?
Indecent exposure.
Right. Is this indecent exposure?
It's crossing. It doesn't cross the line, but it gets really close to it. It's kind of like, okay. Oh gosh, I was about to say the city where. Okay,
Yeah.
so I was working at this city.
Yeah.
That's not too far from where I live.
Right. In a
And in that
nondescript
area,
city.
It's a nondescript city, and nearby there is actually ocean. And
Right.
usually where there's ocean, there's beaches, and usually where there's beaches, there's women in not very much clothing.
Bikinis.
And during the summer, it was very, very often when I went on my lunch break that there were girls walking around in swimsuits, and in other cases, I would even see them where they were wearing very thin shirts with no bra, where the sun shining on it is almost showing bare chest. None of that was illegal, but it does get really close to the line. Like,
and not only that, but here's the thing. My argument would be at the end of the day is that the reason why this could be or should be maybe illegal is that because while it's boobs is fine, I get like you know, like I don't even like that, but I understand boobs and tops and stuff. At least there's something covering them. This dude, she turns, you're gonna see a beaver.
depending how far she turns, yeah.
Like, she's like just simply doing movements at this cinema. Half of her ass is quite literally out of this dress.
It is a little bit like that, yeah.
So,
Yeah,
you know,
it's a little bit risque. We'll put it that way. It's risque, but like, I also like one of the things is, and I know this might sound funny coming from me, but I'm not really of the idea that we necessarily should be policing what people wear, even when it's down to the point of how would you say it? When it's down to the point of hypocrisy. Like, oh my god, don't look at me, stop staring at me, oh my god, you creepy, take a picture, it lasts longer, all that kind of crap.
Yeah.
And yet they're wearing basically what you probably expect them to wear to a strip club
so
to work there.
I've,
But at the same time, you can't really go policing that. I don't think
Yeah.
that that's an appropriate thing the police need to be doing.
so I've actually had this argument with a feminist who was going on about
Yeah.
like it was it was the man in the street, right? And she was having a debate with me about, because she worked in the movie industry, and she was saying that at the end of the day that there was this toxic masculinity where women are objectified in the movie industry. And I turned around and I said to her, I said, well, what about guys? I said, do you care about guys being objectified? I said, what about when James Bond comes out of the water in GoldenEye or whatever it was film he was in, Daniel Craig.
In the Barbie movie just now, it was the guy the actor, like I think he's one of the most objectified men in Hollywood right now, right?
Yep. And
Ryan Gosling, I think his name is.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling. Yep. Yeah. And then I turned around and I said to her, I said, do you care about that? And she's like, and she couldn't answer that one. And then I turned around and I said, yeah, and I also turned around and I said, you care about objectification, right? She goes, yeah. I said, right, show me your Instagram.
Ooh.
And she's like,
did she show you?
No. She's like, why?
Oh.
And I'm like, because I bet you, if I go through your Instagram right now, I will find photos of you in a bikini. And she was like, that's different. I'm like, why? She dead set literally said this to me.
How is that different?
She said it's different because we're doing it to ourselves, so that makes it okay.
Oh, get out of here. I wish I would have been there for that.
Dude, literally that was her argument.
That is the most pathetic argument I have ever heard.
Yeah. But
no way. No shot that was what she said. Oh,
dead set. Dead set. Yeah, dead set. That was what she said.
It's a public platform. So if then the exact same argument applies to the clothing. You put it on yourself, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then you went and walked out in public with it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh God.
But anyway, but like I say, getting back to this,
what ladies just can't seem to grip the difference between the internet and IRL. I mean, there's not a lot of great things that Zoomers have these days, but at least Zoomers actually understand that the internet and IRL are the same thing with certain things. Like, they actually get it. It seems like these older people, millennials, don't seem to understand it, but Zoomers do, thank God.
It's I would say there's a big problem at the moment with accountability with all of the younger generations, but
there is that too, yeah.
Yeah, but what I was going to say was, as for this girl, look, at the end of the day, look, dude, I don't want to say where I live, but you know, right? At the end of the day, I get some fucking stunners, right, in my city at night, right? Holy fuck balls! I tell you what,
you've got to wonder, like, how do they get home at night?
Well,
without getting R-worded.
Yeah, but I can tell you now, guys, right, so I don't want to say, but I'll tell you now, some of those women, holy shit, if you're a guy that blows your load because some hot girl walks past you, do not come and live in my city. They are fucking everywhere, and they are getting around in outfits just like this. I was doing my
I've seen it. I've seen it in the city I worked in.
Yeah,
too. I've seen it. And the problem I have a lot of the time too, this was with I'm not entirely sure they were of legal age, half the time, which made me uncomfortable. Let's put it that way.
But
it's like I'm because it's a male thing. You want to look, but if you're then not sure whether they're 18. It makes you feel dirty.
Yes, it does. Yeah,
oh,
and you end up getting what's that guy from Catch a Pedophile? What's the host's name?
Well, there's a content creator called Mr. Girl.
No.
Well, I'll talk about this one.
Yeah. There's
a content creator called Mr. Girl who made a video. Basically, he did a review of oh God, what was that controversial Netflix film with the young girls in it?
Cuties.
Yeah. He did a review of Cuties, and he unironically played it from like that perspective of being a map, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Minor attractive person. Yep.
Yeah, and he basically was like, this, like, a lot of guys will watch this because they secretly want it, but they'll never admit it.
Well, I don't know about that, but
I mean, it's possible. Like it is possible. But he also talked about the fact that there are guys who, if they see it accidentally, this kind of thing in other contexts, like what I'm talking about, you're going from work to the cafe to get lunch, and very scantily clad, dressed underage girls walk past you, and you look. Like that's a problem. And like, you know how things should be illegal but they're not, yet we probably shouldn't make them illegal because we really shouldn't be policing that kind of crap. We've got better things to fix in society, right?
So getting back
yeah.
to this, I want to sort of get away from this topic because it's a bit of a danger one. But at the end of the day, as for this dress, so what are your thoughts? Do you think it should be illegal or not illegal?
No, I just finished what I was saying. Like, it shouldn't be illegal because we've got better things to fix in society, and that's not going to necessarily break anything. It's not violent crime. It's and if you start giving the government ideas that they can police clothing choices, and we're getting into really slippery slope territory.
Well, they already do. They already do police clothing choices, though.
It is extremely limited, and let's not give them ideas on expanding it. How about that?
Yeah.
But the way that you would police this is not by doing it via government or police. You do it via society shaming. Like, we have to bring back public shaming. That's one of the things, like,
Yeah.
you know, like they talk about fat shaming, they talk about all kinds of things, right?
Yeah.
Well, we need to bring all these things back. She shouldn't be able to walk around in that without constantly getting berated by other women going, "Oh, look at her. You know, it's like, oh, look at that pick-me. You know, oh, whore." Like that kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That should be happening. Yeah.
At
And
the end-
then she would probably end up just going back home, getting changed, and then try a different night, dressed better.
Well,
you know.
obviously she's done this for clout. Like,
Yeah.
so obviously I've got the video on the screen because, you know, views. But also on the other side of the screen here, I've got another photo of her in a bikini at a beach that goes up on her Instagram. And this itself, this whole video was up on Instagram. They even mentioned the fact that she does this basically for internet clout. Look, at the end of the day, my argument is that she's in a theatre where children are in a dress that doesn't even cover her fanny.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. I suppose there is also the conversation as women get away with a lot more with this, the clothing thing, than men do. But let's be fair about one thing. What exactly do men have to show other than literally the primary sexual characteristic?
Which, to be
Because
honest,
women-
I never thought was really attractive anyway.
Well, yeah. So, for women can show off, they can't show off their primary, but they can show off their secondary, which is the boobs, right?
Boobs,
So they
ass, tits, stomach.
Yeah, yeah. And the stop, they can show
Legs.
midriff, all these things, and they are triggering for men, but they are literally not like a sexual organ thing. Like guys like, you know, shoulders, inner thighs, knees, legs, you know,
But
all
then-
the things that they like.
Guys can show off chests and six packs and all that sort of stuff too, right?
Yeah. So
Arms,
men can
legs.
do that, but it's nowhere near as popular.
Yeah, I think it's just at the end of the day, guys are more in tune when it comes to
Well,
visual.
we are visual.
Yeah, girls are more in tune when it comes to like emotions and shit.
Yeah, so the reason that women get away with this way more is because literally men are the visual one anyway. Like,
Yeah.
there's not a whole lot of benefit to men walking around the way women are, dressed in that way, showing off a whole bunch of stuff. So, what do you do? Like, other than having a society policed, I really would not want the government getting involved in this.
No, yeah.
you know?
Obviously, I'm not a big fan of
Yeah.
The video was first shared on Twitter by Austin Powers, where it receives 2.7. Who the hell's Austin Powers on Twitter? But at the end of the day, like I say,
You
yeah.
should have told her to behave.
Oh, he said I didn't mind waiting in line. Sam, Sam. But at the end of the day, like I say, look, at the end of the day, it's like, obviously, like I say, I don't want to go giving the government any more power as well, as much as anybody. But at the end of the day, all I'm thinking is there's kids around. She turns around, and all of a sudden they're going to cop a whole bunch of beaver. Some guy here, Richard Gitz, says on Twitter.
Well, it depends how fast she turns, right? I mean,
well,
because
dude,
if she turns slower, it's not going to do that.
Dude, she's barely turning in this video, and already the dress is like falling halfway off her butt cheek.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Desperate for attention, someone says on Twitter. Someone else says this should be illegal. Someone responded to that comment saying, why bother, just go naked? You might as well just go naked at this point. Someone said, I'm definitely not a fan, even if you have it to flaunt it. All this is doing is asking for attention. Confident women have no need. This is a woman that says this, by the way. It appears more desperate than anything. LGK, she should be more worried about those dirty theatre seats and what people think of her.
No, I think the seats should be more worried about her.
It's definitely inappropriate for the venue. Someone else says it's aggressive for the movies and looks uncomfortable. Screams, I want attention. I watched this 400 times. It does, yeah. Someone wrote, I've watched this 400 times. I become more outraged. Someone else, this is why I wear blue jeans to sit in the movie theaters. No one here is like,
yeah,
and
it's fine.
Look, no one here is supporting her in this. This is everybody's here saying that how bad it is.
Yeah.
Now they might have cherry picked these responses.
Yeah,
but...
and then the other thing is, why didn't anyone? Oh, they're so vocal on the internet. Why wasn't anyone vocal in person?
Because people lack balls.
Exactly.
There were a couple of people down here.
So we need to bring back actual shaming IRL. That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine if you had said something to her boyfriend, would probably try and knock you out. Although the big thing is that, and
was there a boyfriend there?
Well, there have to be someone, right? You really think she's walked alone in a theater looking like that?
Oh, why not?
Well, according to women, there's this massive R-word epidemic where women can't walk the streets on their own.
We know that's not true. In your city, you're saying women walk around.
Yeah, no. Look, at the end of the day, it's. If we're going to go through and make policies based on misinformation that feminists are going to propagate, then at the end of the day, we're just going to have to take it to the extreme, and women are just not going to be able to leave the home on their own because we want them to be safe and protected, right? And if the feminists are out there saying that you can't walk the streets at night without getting groped, then you're just not going to be able to leave the house. We're just going to have to leave it. We're just going to have to leave it at home.
We'll just end up repeating second wave feminism because literally second wave feminism, what happened was the women were because it started in the universities and the dorm rooms where men were allowed to go out at night, but women were locked in the dorm rooms at night at the universities.
Yeah.
And this was litigated already. The women said that they don't care about the safety problem, just let us out.
Yeah.
And eventually they all got their way, and now
obviously
they have problems with safety. But
obviously I'm being smart, right? Obviously I'm being condescending and But but yeah, obviously I don't really think there's a rape problem, but yeah. But anyway, guys, let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Do you think this girl just screams attention, attention seeker, look at me, look at me? Do you think this should be illegal? Do you think at the end of the day that this is fine? There were a couple of people down here. They found 3 responses where people agreeing with her. One guy said, honestly, you see women wearing a bikini or a pool. Yes, because people expect to see this at a bikini or a pool.
And you know what? There are kids at pools.
Yes, but they also go to the pool expecting to see women in bikinis. And I would make the argument that what she's wearing sometimes is even less than a bikini.
In certain angles, it could be, yes.
Yeah.
Dude,
I can tell you now, looking at this video, I can tell you now, she's shaved.
What? Oh, okay. Yeah, well, there you go.
I don't know if you've seen the video, but like that doesn't leave a lot to the imagination.
There you go.
Look, at the end of the day, like I said, you know, like, and especially if she like even turns around slightly fast, people are going to be copying her face full of it. She's barely
They may
moving.
not even complain.
Well, no, but she's barely moving around in this video, and already the dress is like covering her ass. But,
brave woman.
yeah, it definitely wouldn't be my wife. I see more skin at the gym than tone. What? I see more skin at the gym and on a tone more on the beach. Whatever. Movie theaters are.
Yeah, like that is true, but I think they're missing the point.
I don't know any girl that goes to the gym wearing less clothing than what she's got on.
Oh, well, okay, well, to be clear, they're being a smartass, right? Like, they're saying that you see less skin on her than, like, a bikini-clad woman or, like, at a gym. That is true, but it's not the specific parts that we're worried about. It's, like, it's not the amount of skin, it's where the skin is being
Well, no,
reviewed.
they say, I see more skin at the gym and a ton more on the beach.
Yeah, because
they're
she's
saying-
wearing a dress that covers her entire torso, right? So there's no torso skin showing. It's more the butt and.
But girls wear leggings and stuff when they go to the gym anyway. I would argue that you actually see less skin at the gym.
It depends. I've seen girls that are like, oh my gosh, I wish I was in there.
I have never seen a girl at a gym walking around in a bikini.
No, it's not a bikini. It's like a workout bikini.
Yeah, like the best I've seen when it goes to gyms and stuff is like girls like wearing boy shorts, like short shorts. But anyway, I don't see the problem. I've seen more skin at a public beach or at a public pool. It's not like she's going around flashing people. Well, it depends if she moves fast enough. And I think it's the internet would be outraged by this. It's just people in general, right? Yeah, to be honest, I think, like I said, if this was my girl, I would be pissed. I would be like, go change, put some fucking clothes on, stop being a skank, stop trying to seek
But that's
attention.
because you're a toxic masculine person, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, toxic masculine, suck my balls. But yeah, but I wouldn't even date a girl like this in the first place. Fuck her, sure. Date her, no, wouldn't even date her.
That's your toxic masculinity talking.
Yeah, well, you know, that toxic masculinity can build a house. So, you know.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Or renovate a house. I renovated this place.
Oh wow, well done.
Toxic masculinity, my balls! Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like I said, basically at the end of the day, if this was my girl, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Go change. I don't know, what would you, if your wife turned up, or girlfriend turned up at your wife actually, your partner?
No, I wouldn't let her out of the house like dressed like that.
No,
I'd be like, I would be like, what the fuck? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like, we're not going out like this.
Go change.
Yeah.
Alright,
Yeah, like, this is inappropriate and all that sort of shit, you know?
guys, let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. By the way, it looks like she's got a Brazilian butt lift too, so it's not even natural. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below.
Actually, I'm not. I would probably think that can be a natural butt. You ought to see some of these perky butts in South America. They're really good.
Dude, that looks fake to me. That butt looks fake.
All right.
I tell you what, India, whatever your name is, if you want to come over to my place, I will visually inspect your butt, and I presume there's more silicone in your butt than at the beach. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section below.
Butt inspector.
Yeah.
Butt inspector, non-partisan.
Yeah, I'm going to be the female butt inspector. I'm going to be the FBI. All right, let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section below.
Yoi.
All right, let's talk.
That's a good one.
Yeah. All right. Neil Farage.
Nigel
Nigel
Farage.
Farage. Right. Yeah, that one too.
There you go.
So, Nigel, oh, come on, you've known me for what, 6 years now? Have you ever known me to pronounce anything right?
No, but I'm trying to help.
So, Neil Farage,
Oh my god, you're so triggering me with that one. Because one thing is to say it incorrectly, and another one is to literally say a different name.
Yeah.
Because you're saying Neil, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's not Neil, it's
yeah,
Nigel.
yeah, I know, but I'm going to keep saying Neil now. Neil Farage announces next move in court's debanking scandal. So, you're probably wondering what the hell is going on. Well, Neil Farage was debanked without explanation. So political censorship on the right is by no means a new phenomenon in the West. From social media accounts bans to outright police investigations for hate speech, many on the right have encountered some form of corporate or institutional pushback for their beliefs. Bank accounts, which were once rarely interfered with for political reasons, have now a target in recent years. And now in the UK, politicians and Brexit leader Neil Farage has claimed that the banks have begun targeting him. In the video posted to social media, Mr. Farage, see, is that better? Who has a program on the broadcast GB News, stated that he had been with the same bank group since 1980, but stated the bank told him over the phone that his accounts were being closed. I asked why. No reason was given. I was told a letter would come that would explain everything. The letter came through and simply said, "We are closing your account," and added the bank gave a date. And added the bank gave a date, whatever, which was around about now. After being told I was After being told it was a commercial decision, Farage stated that he tried to find another bank but was rejected by at least 7 different bank accounts or different banks for business and personal accounts.
No collusion.
No collusion whatsoever. So, you're probably wondering why we're talking about this, right? Well, because, believe it or not, the letter was leaked. Surprise, surprise.
Oh. And now the internal one, the one that has the collusion?
Yes.
Oh, spicy. Let's do it.
Yeah. So I am trying to very quickly find the actual letter. Here we go. 40 page. So Neil Farage exposes bombshell 40-page Clouts memo branding him xenophobic and racist. So I'll do it. I'll start.
Neither of which well, actually, I wonder. The only argument the banks could possibly have is that if it's in the terms of service.
Well, you know, like Brexit. He disagreed with Brexit, so therefore we're closing a bank account.
Yeah, no, but I'm just wondering, like we need to get a hold on these companies. I swear. Like, one of the things that is really really Orwellian is the idea that a terms of service can be grounds to terminate your agreement, whatever. But when it comes to certain services, like literally banking, there has to be regulations on what can be in a terms of service violation, right?
Yeah. So we do have. I am just looking for the 40-page memo itself because it's surprisingly very few people are talking about it, and the ones that do aren't putting up screenshots.
You know, one of the things to think about while we cover this story is,
we got it.
Should it be possible for your mobile phone company to disconnect you and end contract if you're racist over SMS?
No, I'm a free speech absolutist.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So we do have the full 40-page report here. But in this, they basically go through and they detail and they say that he is so TV personality promised to tell the details of his row with Coates and reveal the real reason the bank was closed. Nigel Farage, I'll start saying his name for real, has exposed a 40-page memo from Coates Bank after he had his account closed. This is Australia's publishing. This Mr. Farage claims that Brexit was mentioned 86 times in the memo. So please insert your PIN code and your view on Brexit, as well as the fact that he supports Donald Trump, which was mentioned numerous times. The word racist is used more than 9 times in the memo. The TV personality has been engaged in a row with the banking group Coates after they closed his account earlier this year.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So, like I said, that's here's the actual 40-page memo here. And yeah. But and here's the whole document here. Yeah. So I'm not going to read it on stream. It is 40 pages, but yeah, it is there.
Wow.
So Australian at the centre of Farage's debanking controversy resigns as Coates' boss. So the Australian at the head of the British royal family's bank of choice has resigned following the growing scandal around the decision to close the account of populist politician Nigel Farage. Coates and its owner Nate West have been engulfed in a crisis since Farage revealed last week his extensive private bank had shut his account in part because of his political views.
In part or in whole?
Yeah, pretty much in whole, actually. An Australian CEO has quit a top job at the bank. So the head of one of Britain's most prestigious banks has resigned. The second top executive has quit the executive group following the row over the disclosure of the account controversy. Now, the interesting thing about this, right, is that it seems like they're more upset about the fact they got caught.
Yeah.
So a day earlier, Alison Rose resigned as NetWest CEO after admitting a serious area of judgment in speaking to the BBC reporter about Farage's banking affairs. So he did go through and actually had an interview with the BBC. And holy ball, it was softballed. But in that, he basically went through and claimed that it wasn't because of any political reasons, that it was because his bank account was below a certain threshold. But we know that's not true. And at the end of the day, we now have the memo that literally documents it, saying it's because they think he's a racist bad person. And now,
let me see if I can do this. He was a racist.
Yeah. And because he's such a bad person, we can no longer have a bank account. So yeah.
Farage bad.
Yeah. We want bank account. Farage is bad. Give us bank account. Farage is bad. But look, he said he went to 7 other banks and was also rejected from there. So no collusion whatsoever.
And we only one CEO has stepped down. What about the CEO of the other banks?
So there was actually 2. There was one, and I think it was the CEO of. So it seems like there was the subsidiary, and then there was the major account or the major company. Looks like the CEO of both of them has stepped down. So there was 2 that got put on the chopping block. But yeah, it's an Australian that's behind it all. And
I mean, anti-racists, Australians, doesn't surprise me. A lot of anti-racist people like that are Aussies as well.
Do you think there was a Brexit, or do you think it was more about Trump, or do you think it was about the trans thing? Because they did say in the memo, they talk about the reason why they fired him was because he doesn't support inclusivity.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, but I don't know what that has to do with your ability to do banking. Like.
No. Well, yeah. You and I both agree on that, but
yeah, it's. I don't know. If you're in the business of providing banking, you're in the business of providing phone service, all these things. I mean, like, just stay out of the politics. It's ridiculous. I don't know. Just sell the beer, that kind of thing.
Don't do a Bud Light.
Yeah, like know your customer. Like, there's also the know your customer thing, and it's like, yeah. What I say to that is, know your customer is to do with identification to prevent fraud, not to prevent the kind of public, the kind of opinions politically you have.
So
It has nothing to do with that.
Here's an interesting thing. So I just went through and did a search for RAC asterisks. Racism was mentioned on page 4.
Wow, that doesn't take long.
Racism, xenothreat, BLM, anti-Semitism. Right, October 20th, 2022. The Guardian.
Nigel Farage is anti-Semitic?
I thought he was Jewish, but regardless.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've never seen him be anti-Semitic.
But at the end of the day, and then there was also a mention of racism on page 5, racism on page 6, racism on page 10, racist is on page 11, racism is on page 12, 13 has several mentions of racism. Like, holy dooly. Like, they really didn't like this guy. But
Nah.
I do have a question for you, right? Do you think it's because of Brexit? Do you think it's because of his views on trans? Or do you think it's because of just a combination of factors? Because, right, so here's my thing, right? This is a bank that closed him, right?
Yeah.
Does the guy the CEO that owned this bank, is he a globalist? And is he still upset about Brexit?
Well, possibly. I know that when it comes to the economy, I think Brexit might have hurt the economy a bit, and maybe the guy's got a chip on his shoulder about it too.
I don't think it's hurt the economy, though.
I think it did. I'm pretty sure it has had some negative effects. Like,
I think the economy...
being in the EU generally is good for your economy, right? At
No,
least
it's
if
actually...
there's anything about the EU.
No, it's actually bad. A lot of countries have actually gone and had more problems being a member of the EU than actually not being in the EU. So... especially when you get to into third world countries and stuff, right? Because, well, for a start, the EU lends a whole bunch of money to these countries who can't pay it back, and then it cripples them with interest and debt. So there's also that sort of parasitic sort of nature too. But at the end of the day, I do wonder exactly what was the exact reason, or was it just a combination? It sounds like it was a combination of factors. Apparently, according to them, he's transphobic. According to them, he's racist, and according to them, he's also a supporter of Brexit. He's one of the major voices of Brexit. So, although I do find it funny that this is sort of blown up right as the whole trans thing seems to be blowing up as well. So, it's probably most likely going to be that, I imagine. If I did a search for transphobic, I imagine. It's so page 4 is transactions, transactional, transmitted. Transphobic's mentioned on page 38.
Okay, there you go.
Where they talk about Ricky Gervais being transphobic.
Ricky Gervais. Okay.
Yeah. So apparently,
what's that got to do with Nigel Farage?
Maybe he's friends with him or something. I'm not sure. Maybe it was also mentioned.
Yep, that could be it. You got bad friends.
Yep. Everybody, get ready. Get ready for that social credit score, everybody.
You interrupted me to say what I wanted to say.
What are you going to say with that, are you?
Yes, I was going to say, the whole, being friends with somebody whose low credit score lowers yours. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
I'm
happens in. Yeah.
I'm
Actually, in China, if someone with a low credit score rings you, your phone actually tells you if you answer this call, it has this effect on you.
wow.
It's just like, oh, that is so bad. Yeah.
Just trying to find social credit score. There was a video that's going around on YouTube. Luke Wadowski had it at the start of his video, where where people were it was like set in the future, where like a guy was shopping, and he
Yeah.
yeah. Let me see if I can quickly find it. No, I can't seem to find it. It's a guy who basically is walking through a shopping centre, and there's a guy that comes up, and it's like a mate, and he goes about he goes, oh, did you go to the event? And the guy's like, yeah. But then it starts flashing on his screen about how this guy has like a low credit score. Here it is. Here, found it. So. For anybody that's wondering, yes, we go on tangents here.
Yeah.
That's why you love us, though, right?
Oh, hey, what's good?
No way, what's up?
How you been?
Good.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. I see you've been up to a lot. Oh, you saw that VR Drake concert?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Oh, wait, is that a strike on your account?
Oh, it's just one.
No, I'm sorry, we can't be friends.
But just one strike?
And it was like basically like you got a strike on your account, so we can't be friends. So I'm probably never ever having friends. My account would just be strike after strike after strike. I'd have to get like fake ID or some shit. Just so I can have friends. All right. But yeah, we're very much getting into that. There was also a thing that we'll probably cover tomorrow, where a new digital currency was released in, I think, China, where you need to give them your biometrics to get the coin. And apparently people have been lining up around the corner, around the street to get it. And totally not Orwellian or scary whatsoever. Before we jump into it, and
coming to a Western country near you though, CBDC's already a thing. So
yeah, we've covered it a few times actually. Apart from that, anything else about the Nigel Farage?
no, that's all good.
Anything else we should wrap in? No. All right. Because those are your thoughts are in that comment section below regarding that, and let's jump on to the next thing. All right, so the Trump indictment. Let me just refresh this, and so we go by news, and we go by. Is there a way of searching by date? Trump hit with further counts and classified documents case. So Trump faces additional charges. Seems like there's more going on about that than anything else. Yeah, doesn't seem to be anything just yet. So let's break it down. Trump updates. Why did I just Google search? I could just hit refresh on this. Special counsel added additional charges against Trump in classified documents case. Because, there's such a strong case here already. Being sarcastic for people that can't tell. So here's the latest on the investigation into Trump. New indictments were filed today in connection with the ongoing prosecution by Special Counsel Jack Smith on Trump and the top aide, including charges against former president for handling of classified documents after he left the White House. Which, by the way, he has every right to do because guess what? He's president. Trump announces last week that he received a letter notifying that he's target of a grand jury examining the January 6th protests, riots, and efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Cool. So maybe they can show me where Trump told people to go out and smash and riot and stuff like that, right? I'd love to see that text message. Because also, it doesn't count. Members of the grand jury in the January 6th investigation were spotted at the courthouse today. They're probably going to do this, if they do this, and they haven't already by this stage, they'll probably do it tomorrow night because it'll be a Friday night. I'm surprised they even sort of hinted at it today because normally this stuff drops on a Friday night. So at the end of the day, look, I'm not a lawyer, right? So why don't we hear from an actual lawyer regarding this situation? And the best person that we could probably hear from was probably someone that's represented Trump in the past or helped Trump cases in the past, but also who has extensive knowledge when it comes to courts and Barnes. So, Via Fry is a Canadian lawyer, but his co-host is an American lawyer. His name is Barnes, Robert Barnes. So we're going to copy that and go to that. Right. So
discovers the patriarchy becomes an evil villain that stay. My view is that was a tactical mistake. If you were on the watching the Bourbons at Viva Barnes Law, .local compelled them to ran it, but not the gangs you thought of. The gangs were part of the police. 10 kids. And the prosecutor's office not only has to be disqualified on a go-forward basis, but anything they've done has to... That's correct.
Whoa, we just got disconnected from OBS. And we're back. Sorry guys if you just noticed the drop. We just got disconnected and reconnected from YouTube again. Wow. When we talk about this stuff, it's amazing how it happens.
To give an example of this, the LA County Jail that I was involved in tangentially in these
Little Rock and YouTube, a vote.
But it's good that they're this is fighting a case tooth and nail, top to bottom, and that's what Trump's lawyers in Georgia are doing a very good job of doing. A forged document that
election to concoct this fraudulent scheme. Explain. We've talked about it. You've talked about it on vivabarneslaw.locals.com. The alternate slate of electors as a constitutional legal theory.
Homes is to who owned property. That's how ludicrous it is to try to apply it to an election contest by voting. But we're in the army, putting restrictions on these things. And it's why I may have what some consider a deviant opinion on the Supreme Court ethics issues that we'll talk about in a second. SCOTUS case, it's all about, hey, you disagreed with who won the election. We're gonna.
I'm just trying to find the part where they talk about the New York
required that the state electoral count act that was enforced in that manner, then that saying yes to alternative electors. That meant that this could
this challenging political
Look at
environment
those
and
eyes.
ultimately.
And so they got a unique process and relatively unique in Texas.
3-3. And one side note, Norm Pattis, I don't know that we ever mentioned this, Norm Pattis' suspension of his...
especially for what appears to be here a federal crime. And concerning it, that because it was of attack, but again, I don't...
That would say, okay, well, you've renounced to ever invoking violations to your speedy trial provision, and so we'll just drag our feet for however long. And
No preemption. The goal again being preventing local state prosecutors from weaponizing their criminal prosecution.
be
So even if the trial goes in May, he ain't going to jail before election. It is still the case that
anybody and everybody that you need on the
legally,
evidence.
you can't. Flexible, and they'll just kick.
Mistake on $3 billion in
6 billion.
arms. $6 billion. Now, there are some conflicting stories as to whether or not they overpaid $3 billion or undervalued the arms that they were sending by $3 billion, which allowed them to send $3 billion more. Do you know which way
What
it
they
goes?
ultimately said is that there's $6 billion that was who
Who've
either
never
hate
done it.
Trump or never practice. Detail. Okay, we're going to spend this much time on this category of discovery. Here's why. Here's how much available time I have. Here's what time I'm competing with. Then I'm going to do this on these emotion practices. And then I'm going to do, explain in such a way that the judge looks and goes, geez, that's faster than I could ever do it. And they're asking for 18 months. And then list all the dates, all the other trials that got at least 18 months. And especially use the government's own cases against them. When the government gets to imprison someone pending trial, like the January 6 cases, by golly, they always, that's 2 years, 2.5 years, 3 years, 4 years. Use that against them in cases like this. And I think had they done so, they would have got it. That being said, there are people who really don't Mark Levin included, who really don't it's the problem with almost 90% of legal commentary is made by people who either hate Trump or never practice. So Mark Levin doesn't hate Trump, but he's, to my knowledge, never practiced criminal defense. Same with some others. Charlie Kirk got mistaken on this. I can tell you the odds that the May date takes place are still low. Here's your typical federal judge's scheduling. They have to schedule the first date within 70 days of arraignment. So your first date, you pretty much never going to happen in a complex case. Almost no case happens within 70 days. Then you get your first continuance, and that's based on the first round of discovery. Almost always, the judge wants you to come in 2 months or so before the trial date and say, well, we did try, Judge, but look, we got this, we got this, we got this. And in a majority of federal cases like this one, a second continuance is granted. So these are not hard dates.
Let me stop you there. The discovery that we're talking about, everybody talks about discovery. There's 1.1 million pages of documents, however many tens of thousands of hours of video. Discovery, as most people understand it in civil cases, you have a party to the suit, you sit them down, you ask them about the case. What does discovery look like in the case of a federal indictment? Do you depose anybody and everybody that you need on the evidence?
You can't. In a criminal case, you have none of the. And that's where you always use the analogy of the government. So if the government in this case, if you really look at it, because they were the referral happened in late 2017. Late 2021. It took them 2 years to bring an indictment, and they have the power of the grand jury. And they don't have any restrictions on classified review by lawyers or agents. So that's where you always emphasize. All you get is a federal criminal case is whatever discovery government gives you. You have no right to depose anybody. Your rights to subpoena are limited to trial or an evidentiary hearing.
We're just skimming through this,
and you
guys,
often have to
trying to
beg for
find
whatever
the
discovery you can
section.
get because the government's always holding information back. There's no open file policy in the federal government. So you often have to have motions to compel discovery, et cetera. Now, smart prosecutors won't play games if they want a fast trial, but these prosecutors are too greedy and too consistently unethical to honor such rules and restrictions. So you can almost guarantee their stuff they're hiding. And so and that includes.
So?
I've been at that for a while.
Yeah.
Exculpatory information under the Brady U.S. Supreme Court and Giglio information, which is impeachment information. So basically, you have to use private investigators.
It's a 3-hour stream, and they talk about Trump for like half an hour.
To try to investigate what the government, and you have no power to compel them to do so. You don't have the federal law enforcement power behind you to do so. So it means that typically a competent, capable defense investigation takes twice as long as the prosecutor took. That's where that's 4 years, right? Now this information was not relayed to the judge, right? So this was some of the weaknesses in it. This was an opportunity to not.
What I might do is just try.
And if you have laid back judges, no problem. But if you have a
trial, like immediately.
I think that it was everything taking decisions, again reflecting some tactical errors in my view by Trump's defense team.
So Trump had asked that this is the state charges for the entries on the Stormy Daniels payments and how they were itemized and referenced be brought out to federal courts. What was the justification or the rationale for the request?
So in any case where ran it, but not the games you thought, they blew an opportunity. That's not here. Here the only for libel and defamation, but you can't otherwise.
Who would have to serve his time at a state jail for state conviction that he can't even pardon himself for if he gets reelected.
Which you could have no Secret Service protection. You just think it through. It's insane. It's pure insanity. To their own prior decisions and prior like and analogous cases. But the rest of us should be concerned with it because it leads to places that make no sense.
Well, it leads to a place where you could have a president elected who is locked up in jail at a state jail, and not for. I guess I'm trying to think of cases where he could have committed crimes before running for president, whatever.
That you could blackmail and extort him at any time, right? I could be a state prosecutor, small county, say, hey, President Biden, unless you do what I say on this policy, I'm going to go arrest you tomorrow and drag you into jail. That you no longer have a constitutional government. Then it's
As
gone.
and he can be an elected sitting president who would have to serve his time at a state jail for state conviction that he can't even pardon himself for if he gets reelected.
which you could have no Secret Service protection. I mean, you just think it through. It's insane. It's pure insanity. And the people justifying this have not thought it through at all.
Yeah, well, I don't think anyone's gonna. The accusation of having thought it through too much is not one that you're gonna hear too often. Robert, before we get to the Georgia one, before I fall way too far behind on the Rumble rants that have been coming in here,
So he brings up a very good point. So I'll go through, guys, and we'll try and find it overnight, and we'll talk about it early tomorrow. But at the end of the day, he talks about the fact that Trump's not going to see prison because at the end of the day, what are you going to do? You're going to put him in there with Secret Service? Do you go through, and this is what I've been saying this whole time, how do you arrest a president who is guaranteed Secret Service protection? Are the Secret Service also going to have to do time as well? Anybody out there? I would love you to explain this to me. How are you going to justify locking up 5 guys innocent of crimes and putting them in jail because you want to arrest Donald Trump? Just tell me, how is that going to work? Right? And he also talks about this whole 15th Amendment and stuff like that. He's like, it's not going to happen. Then they can't keep him off the list. Even if they go through and they do, and we'll find this talk and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Even if they do find something to keep him off the books, off the ballot papers, they can only do it in Democratic cities. You're going to tell me these Republican states aren't going to turn around and say, screw you, we're going to put over who we want on the ballots? So,
yeah, I guess they will. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you can't stop him from running. They've never done this before. Yeah, and not to mention the fact that the evidence to support your incitement for violence was really, really weak, considering there's literally text messages of Trump telling people to go home. There's text messages of him saying, don't be violent, respond, support the police, they're there to protect you and support you. So, how do you make an incitement charge when you literally have tweets from him saying, be peaceful, have your voices heard, but be peaceful? You can't. You can't. It's not going to work. So, there's so many reasons why this is going to end up falling apart. But at the end of the day, what I think they're trying to do is that they're trying to put all these cases against him, make this massive amount of evidence to try and make out they're going to, oh, you're going to spend 400 years in jail. And then they'll turn around, they'll say to him, we'll give you a plea deal. You won't see a day in jail, but you can't run, or your family can never run as president. And that's what I think it's all about. It's about stopping him running from presidency. I don't care about this shit.
I concur.
Yeah. But I'll try and find the video on Barnes where they talk about it, and we'll break it down tomorrow. I can't find it here flicking through it. But yeah. But anything else you want to specify before we head off for the day? Is there anything we're sort of missing? Or?
No, I don't think so.
All right. I'm going to go and vacuum my car.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, I've got to go and clean my car out. Yeah. Go and have a shower and stuff first, and I've just got home from work. But,
yeah. Gotta clean up.
Yeah. But, alright. Tomorrow also, Tom McDonald's new song comes out, guys. We will break it down live on the stream, so you will get our first reactions to it, and we will break it down. And
yeah. If I can make it, which I'll do everything I can to make it.
If you can't.
Saturday,
If you can't, it's no big deal. I get it.
My audio quality won't be as good because I'll probably have to go outside.
Yeah, that's right. If you can't, I get it, and I can just do it solo if I have to. But like I say, guys, do we want to just do the Tom McDonald thing tomorrow then, and then like leave all this stuff for like the Sunday night, Monday morning show?
All this stuff,
like the Barnes, the Trump indictment, the Andrew Tate stuff.
Oh, I don't know.
We could do it on Monday morning, Sunday night.
Yeah, so I guess we could. Yeah.
All right, guys. Apart from that, have a great night, everybody. Enjoy yourself. You want to say bye? Anything you want to add before you leave?
That's all good.
Yeah.
All right. Catch us all later.
No worries, guys. Have a good night. Enjoy, everybody. Oh wow, we're under 2 hours for a change.
Yay.
Yay! All right, guys. Apart from that, have a great night. Enjoy yourself, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.